fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another edition of Stateside Footy. I'm your boy Steve, and thanks for tuning in tonight. I believe it's Tuesday night. Dude, this whole start of the week has been absolutely nuts and crazy. But that being said, man, I'm glad that I'm back in what was, I guess you can say, it was a pretty subdued weekend, man. Let's see what happened this weekend. Oh yeah, that's right. My club team is on the brink of relegation in England. And I think the Sounders played this weekend. I didn't necessarily watch it because I kind of fell out early on both Sunday night, something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyways, but I'm glad that I'm back. New week, everything is good. And we have actually a pretty cool show tonight because we do actually have to talk about a few things prior to getting to the rundown. So before I do, I want to say thanks for everybody that's tuning in. Currently on TikTok Live. Thanks for tuning in. All those that are tuning in via X and also Facebook as well too. Man, you guys are awesome. And also, while you're at it, man, why don't you hook your boy up, man, with a little bit of a like and subscribe action, and also hit that notification bell because I believe on Thursday night I'm going to be back talking a little bit about what is going to happen post World Cup 2026. What's on deck as far as coaching searches, what we can expect from the U.S. men's national team, or dare I say the U.S. Soccer Federation, because let's be real, it is going to be the Fed that is going to be the, going to be the ones that are going to be making the decision. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that is potentially going to look like for the U.S. men's national team in the next cycle, and then what we could expect as far as a player personnel type of situation. So that's going to be as far as I'm concerned, that's going to be an awesome conversation. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell. All right, let's go ahead and get into it because we do have a few things to talk about first before we get in the rundown. And the first thing I want to talk about is Pellegrino Matarazzo. And of course, Real Sociedad did beat Atletico Madrid to win the Copa del Rey. And the reason why that is important is because Pellegrino Matarazzo becomes the first U.S.-born coach to lift a European trophy. That's it. He becomes the first European coach to lift a European trophy. And it's absolutely massive because up to this point, U.S. coaches really just have not necessarily had a good run in Europe. As a matter of fact, not a lot of U.S. coaches actually like to go to Europe because of the current structure currently that's taking place in the United States. And because of the money that's in the United States, a lot of coaches don't necessarily want to take that chance in Europe. Now, we have seen a few different examples of that happening. Obviously, Jesse Marsch is the first one that comes to mind. But the reality is, because if you're a coach in the United States that ascends to a pretty good level, to where you're either going to get to the USL level or the Major League Soccer level. There's no need to, sharpen those finer edges by going over to Europe. Why would you, if you're making $2-3 million a year, being a head coach in Major League Soccer? And so from that standpoint, coaches don't step outside their comfort zone. They don't do whatever is necessary to make themselves a little bit more of a polished product. And as that, and because of that, what we have in the United States are good coaches, not great. Some of them are actually, to be honest with you, some of them are absolutely dog shit. But that being said, with a guy like Pellegrino Matarazzo, to be able to go over to Europe, and to be able to have that type of success in Germany, to be able to take over at a club like Real Sociedad. And remember that when he took over, this was a club that was kind of like barking down relegation in Spain. Not only did he turn them around, but he was able to lift a European trophy, the Copa del Rey. And so from that standpoint, man, that's absolutely huge. And of course, with this type of success, U.S. men's national team fans are kind of like, okay, cool. What does this mean as far as like potential national team appointment? Chances are pretty good that's not going to happen. And I would be remiss to say that it's not going to happen, because quite honestly, why would he come to the national team now? Especially, after, he does this rescue job with a team like Real Sociedad. And you're going to see a lot of mid-table teams, or maybe even upper mid-table teams that are potentially underachieving. And all of a sudden you see this American that goes from Germany to Spain and is able to potentially rescue a team like Sociedad, and all of a sudden find that type of success. And, maybe he's got that secret sauce, man. Maybe there's something about the way that he sets up a team, whether his organization skills are upper level to the point where maybe, there's going to be a team in the Premier League, or a team in France, or a team in Italy that is going to look at this and say, you know what, man, this is the type of guy that we need to come in and right this ship so we can actually contend. We can actually move up a little bit in the table, potentially grab a European spot. So from a guy like Pellegrino Matarazzo's standpoint, it's like there's no need to go to the national team right now, because you would probably assume there's going to be bigger and better jobs on his horizons. Like, this is probably going to, like, the national team for Pellegrino Matarazzo is probably not going to like come down the pipe for like another 2 more cycles. You would probably assume, right? Like another 8 to 10 more years. Like, yeah, maybe at that stage, he might consider it. Even if the U.S. men's national, even if the Feds throw him like 10 mil to come coach the national team, I highly doubt a dude like Pellegrino Matarazzo is going to say yes at this stage. It just doesn't make any sense for his career at this stage to take over the national team. But that being said, congratulations to Pellegrino. Much earned. Much respect from this side, because quite honestly, I didn't think I'd ever see a day that a U.S. coach would ever put himself in a position to lift a trophy in Europe, even if it is a tertiary trophy like the Copa del Rey. Although I say that tongue in cheek, like I don't want to disrespect that trophy, but the reality is it's like, obviously it's not a Champions League or a Europa League, or even that of the Premier League. But that being said, it's still a hell of an accomplishment, especially for a team like Real Sociedad. And when you look at just the talent that's in La Liga at this stage, and then you're going up against a guy like Diego Simeone in Atletico, and to be able to come out, granted it was in pens, so it's kind of like a roll of the dice at that stage. But again, man, congratulations to Pell. That was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, man, I'm absolutely just over the moon by this one. So again, man, congratulations to Pellegrino Matarazzo, and hopefully this is the start of something absolutely beautiful in his career. And who knows, man, maybe Pell will move on to something a little bit higher up the food chain. I don't think he's going to go to any huge clubs in Europe. But that being said, like, could I see him, take the next step up to, potentially, like lower level big clubs, yeah, potentially. Let's see. We have Nate Ski 75. What's going on, my guy? RIFC TID till I die. Rhode Island FC. I love it, man. Nate Ski comes strong every single time. And of course, we have Dan Davenport 6902. It's good to see you, Dan. And of course, yeah, Haji did score for Coventry. We're going to cover that. The last thing I wanted to talk a little bit about today was we did have another injury on the U.S. front that was announced. Goalkeeper Jonathan Klinsmann, man, Johnny K. Reports came out of Italy that he suffered a broken neck. And what they're saying is more or less that it was the first vertebrae that got fractured. Some are reporting it as a clean break. Some are reporting it as a fracture. But either way, man, that is an absolutely nasty injury for Jonathan Klinsmann. And it comes at a bad time for a team like Cesena. They're chasing promotion in Serie B. And obviously, he is one of their bigger pieces of that team. Granted, what I will say is Jonathan was called into the national team the last two camps of 2025. And so he was on that World Cup radar. Now, whether or not he was actually going to get called in for the World Cup as that number 3, probably not. But that being said, this injury almost certainly puts him out of the running for that third goalkeeper spot. And for a guy who, essentially had to, scratch and claw his way into relevancy within this national team to get himself in a position where he can even get calls up and understand that Jonathan Klinsmann comes with a little bit of a baggage because of who his dad is. And if you guys remember the tweet heard around the world with Jonathan, when Lando was left off the World Cup roster, I believe it was Jonathan Klinsmann that made that world famous tweet that was very tasteless in the moment. But the reality is, because of who his dad is and the history with the national team, right? He's kind of in a situation where there's still some people that remember. And so from that standpoint, his play has to be he has to put himself in a position where his play stands out. And so from that standpoint, to go from that to where he is now, getting actual calls into the national team, which is absolutely fantastic. And now all of a sudden he has the broken neck. And it's just a shame, man. So Johnny, hopefully everything happens. Hopefully everything goes recover. Hopefully you recover quickly and you get back out there, and we'll see exactly what next year has in store for you. But that being said, man, it's a straight kick in the balls when you have that type of injury at this stage of the season. Yeah, man, it's terrible. But that being said, I would probably assume at this stage, Chris Brady is probably now going to be that number 3 for the U.S. at the World Cup. And his season abruptly comes to an end. So it is what it is, and it's too bad. Hopefully, Johnny, you recover quickly. But let's go ahead and get into the rundown, because we do actually have a new entry this week into the rundown. And, man, I'm actually kind of happy about this one because it's been a while since we talked about him. So let's start with the strikers. And, of course, we begin right at the top with Flo Balogun. What was it? Monaco drew 2-2 with Auxerre. Ballo played 88 minutes and he scored again. This dude is absolutely on fire. He actually had 3 shots, scored 1 of 3, 21 touches, 9 in the opposition box, and I believe it was 7 of 10 of accurate passes. But what's important about this performance was the fact that this was his 7th and 9. And this dude is absolutely on fire. I'll be the first one to admit, I actually didn't see this one from Balogun. Like, I knew he was an underrated killer in France. And of course, he's overshadowed by some of the better strikers in Ligue 1. Of course, those that occupy that in Paris. But that being said, you're looking at this dude who's finally coming into his own. Obviously, he's in his prime, and he's coming into form at the right time. But 7 of 9, I didn't see this one coming. Generally speaking, after 4 or 5, you kind of expect a little bit of a cool down period, but this dude continues to stay hot. And it's been a pleasure watching this entire run. And I guess the question is like, if there is going to be a cool down period, is this going to come like after the World Cup? Is it possible that he can finish out this season absolutely on fire and continue this form heading into the World Cup? Because, obviously there is a lot of U.S. men's national team fans that don't necessarily believe in this team. And, there's going to be 3 or 4 guys that are going to have to carry this team to wherever we feel like we're going to finish in this upcoming World Cup. But that being said, it's like, I don't know, man. Balogun is just absolutely just on goddamn fire. I'm 100% for it, man. I'm here for it. And it's interesting too, because we're going to get into Pulisic in just a couple minutes. But when I see this, I start looking at some of I kind of start looking ahead a little bit, right? And I start wondering exactly what it's going to mean for a guy like Balogun. And if he's able to have one of those World Cups, right? Like, what is that going to do for the legacy of a guy like Flo Balogun? Like, does he have the ability to launch himself into the upper echelon of what we consider good U.S. men's national team performances in the World Cup, right? Because as of right now, everybody remembers the goal against Algeria with Landon. But, for me, it's like Clint scoring in 3, but obviously the damage that he did in the 2009 Confederations Cup, the 2010 World Cup, the 2014 World Cup, and some of the big moments that Clint's had. If Balo goes into this World Cup and like scores in 3 or 4, and he has, a game winner, and he's like one of the reasons why we advance, like, what does that mean for that legacy? And that's where I'm kind of at right now with Balogun. Like, does he have the ability to put the team on the shoulders and literally, deliver like one of those type of performances where we're talking about it in 20 years? He's at that talent level right now. And that's kind of where I'm at with Balogun. Like, I dare to dream with a dude like Balogun. That's all I'm going to say. Haji Wright, of course, Dan Davenport mentioned this in the chat just a second ago. Haji Wright today, as a matter of fact, Coventry beat Pompey today 5-1. They absolutely beat the shit out of Portsmouth today. And it looks like Haji Wright played 75 minutes, scored a goal, took 5 shots today, which is kind of unreal. 24 touches, 6 in the opposition box, 9 of 7 of accurate passes, and that was good for a 7.5 rating as well too. And why this is important, because Haji Wright kind of cooled off a little bit, and now he's back in the scoring column. And again, when you're kind of looking at how many games are left in the championship season, this is kind of where he's going to have to pick up a little bit. And of course, obviously, Ajamang is out, and so now you're going to need that secondary striker. And I think a lot of people think he's probably going to be number 3 on the list. But that being said, it's like number 2, number 3. All 3 of these dudes are going to get opportunities in the World Cup. And so naturally, you need all 3 of them playing at the highest level coming in. But it's nice to see Haji Wright get back in the score sheet because, again, he's going to be an absolutely huge player for us this upcoming summer. But great performance today in an absolute ass kicking over Pompey. And it was nice to see. Now, coming back into my rundown, and I didn't include him last week because I wanted to see what he did off the back of this one. But Daryl Dike is back, and West Brom beat Watford 3-0. And Dike played 74 minutes, and he scored a goal today on 25 touches. 4 of those came to the opposition box, 6 of 9 of accurate passing. And it looks like he was 3 of 4 of ground duels, 3 of 6 of aerial duels, and that was good for an 8 rating. And so Daryl Dike has backed up last week's goal performance with another one this week, and it's nice to see Daryl Dike not just healthy, but also producing for West Brom, because it has been an absolute I guess you could say it's been hell for Daryl Dike since where he was 4 years ago, and where we thought Daryl Dike was going to be. I guess you could say in the pecking order of U.S. men's national team strikers. This dude has just had nothing but a reoccurring nightmare of injuries, and it feels like Daryl's kind of turned the corner a little bit. And now he's doing what he's doing best, which is scoring goals and using that physicality that he has. So we'll see exactly what this means for Daryl Dike. I certainly don't think that he's going to be in the mix for a World Cup spot. I think that's way too late for that. But that being said, man, it's nice to see Daryl Dike back in the scoring column, back healthy, and back, I guess you can say, just in the good graces of just being a productive footballer. So congratulations to Daryl. All right, moving to some forwards now. Christian Pulisic has continued his goalless drought now. And this one was interesting because AC Milan did beat Hellas Verona 1-0 in Serie A. And, of course, they're chasing down. I don't think they're going to be in line for the Scudetto. I don't think that. But they're certainly going to be in a Champions League spot, no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, they're kind of in second. Yeah, they're in second right now. Obviously, Napoli is tied on 66 points. Juventus is only three spots back. So regardless of whatever happens, I'm sure they're going to be in the Champions League next year. But that being said, Pulisic did play 80 minutes, had 49 touches, 34 of 40 of accurate passes. 7 of those go into the final third, 1 of accurate long balls, and that was pretty much it. That was good for a 6.5 rating. And this dude's form is off kilter. But again, I keep saying it every single week. Every single week. The more it happens, the more I do get concerned. But that being said, it's Christian Pulisic. It's Christian. Hasn't scored for the national team since late 2024. I get it. And there is reason to be concerned because he is Captain America, and he is our most important player. He's probably our best player when it comes to skill. But that being said, I still trust Christian. I trust him to show up to the World Cup, and I trust him to be able to do what he does best, which is show up on the biggest stages for the national team, because he has done it so many times. And he did it in the last World Cup. And he's done it on for his club as well too. And so from that standpoint, like he's done it so many times that the trust factor for me is there, that this doesn't concern me. It's in the back of my mind. By the way, it's in the back of my mind. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say that, like, the thought hasn't crossed my mind that maybe he has like one of the biggest letdowns in the World Cup. I get it. But again, he's also proved that the biggest stages aren't too bright for him. And so from that standpoint, I'm going to err on the side of I trust Christian to show up. But that being said, this is absolutely concerning for me because, we're in April now. So it's been 4 months since the turn of the new year. And he's got like one assist in 2026, no goals. It's about as bleak as possible. And by the way, this never happened to Landon, and this never happened to Clint, where you go a year without scoring. This has never happened to some of the biggest names in U.S. men's national team history. I'm sorry, it just hasn't happened. So this is a first. This is kind of like uncharted territory. But that being said, man, I'm going to err on the side of I trust Christian to show up, and I think he will. But we'll see. Weston McKennie. Juventus beat Bologna 2-0. West played a full 90. He did have an assist in this one. Created 2 chances, 69 touches, 44 of 50 of accurate passes, 10 into the final third, 1 of 2 of accurate crosses, 1 of 1 of accurate long balls. And it looks like he was 2 of 3 of aerial duels as well, too. That was good for an 8 rating. And Wes is phenomenal, man. And by the way, I hope for Wes's standpoint that there is not going to be any type of scenario where he has to continue to prove himself year after year anymore. I hope that this was this second half of the season solidified himself in so many different levels for his career, because quite frankly, he's earned it. And I would love it. I would absolutely love it if, regardless of what the future holds for Wes at Juventus, me personally, I just think he's earned the right to come into next season as a solidified starter, 100%. And you're right, Dan. By the way, he was pretty crap at Leeds. I'll give you that. He was. But that being said, also remember that when he was at Leeds, he was still fairly young, coming into the English game where a lot of players, not just American players, struggle to come into the Premier League. So I don't hold that against Wes. Speaking of Leeds, Brendan Aronson had himself a great game as Leeds relegated Wolves as they beat them 3-0. Aronson played 78 minutes. He also had an assist. I think it was the assist on the second goal. 37 touches, 16 of 18 of accurate passes, 2 of 3 on successful dribbles. Looks like he had 7 defensive contributions, and that was good for an 8 rating as well too. And it looks like Aronson's having himself a career year at the Premier League level. And he's such an integral part of what's his bucket, Daniel Falk, or their head coach, Leeds' head coach. I think his name is Daniel Falk, or regardless, he's having himself a fantastic season this year with Leeds. And by the way, with Leeds' performance over the course of the last couple of weeks, they have solidified themselves. They're probably, they're going to stay up this season. And so from that standpoint, it's absolutely amazing, considering that, it's been a yo-yo situation at the Premier League level when it comes to promoted teams. And so 2 of the 3 are going to stay up this season. So that's absolutely fantastic. And I'm absolutely buzzing for Leeds because they've certainly earned it. So congratulations to Brendan. Huge assist this last weekend. And of course, Brendan's, as far as I'm concerned, is a lock for the World Cup. Let's see. Dan Davenport says Leicester have been relegated. I saw that, man. That's too bad. The Foxes, man, pulled to Sunderland. That's too bad. Alex Zendejas makes the rundown this weekend. And of course, he's essentially been a lock for my rundowns for the last, 8 weeks now, bearing injury when he has played. They beat Toluca 2-1, and Zendejas played a full 90. He also had an assist. He also created 2 chances, 55 touches, 35 of 43 of accurate passes, 4 into the final third, and that was good for an 8 rating as well too. And the performances that Zendejas has been putting in at full strength have done more than just solidify, as far as I'm concerned, solidify himself into the World Cup roster. He should be, without a doubt. I really don't think there should be a conversation as far as I'm concerned. Now, there's going to be conversations surrounding Diego Luna and his involvement within the World Cup roster. Mauricio Pochettino absolutely loves him. I understand that. And if there's a way where you can carry both, then you carry both. But if it comes down between one or the other, you have to take the dude that's in form right now and who is potentially playing at a higher level. I guess that's the question. Which level is higher? Is it Club America and Liga MX in Mexico, or is it Major League Soccer? What's the differential? How do you tell? That's the thing. It's I don't really think Liga MX is really all that higher of a level anymore, if I'm being brutally honest. But that being said, it's who gives you the better opportunity to score a late goal? Who is the guy that, that can come in the 70th minute if you're chasing a goal, somebody that kind of tilts the field, or even better, somebody that can play multiple positions and actually has the ability to create at a higher level. I think that might be Zendejas. I really do. Let's see. How is Miguel Almiron doing? He's doing okay with Atlanta. It's not the same as it was the first time around. I'll say that. Gianluca Busio makes the rundown again, man. He's actually starting to be one of my favorite players. And it's a shame that he hasn't gotten a longer look with the national team, but he is absolutely ripping it up for Venezia. Speaking of which, they beat Bari 3-0 in Serie B. Busio played 82 minutes. Also created 2 chances, 82 touches, 69 of 76 of accurate passes, 5 into the final third, 1 of 1 of accurate crossing, 3 of 3 of accurate long balls, 3 defensive contributions, 3 of 5 of ground duels, and that was good for a 7.5 rating. And Busio just continues to be their best player, and he's doing it. He's doing it in multiple positions. He's either doing it at the 8 or he's doing it at the 10. And this dude just continues to be a menace in Venezia's midfield. And I get it, right? It's Serie B. But again, the reason why he continues to be included in my rundown is because he's absolutely earned it. And to be honest with you, man, it's on a week-to-week basis, it's fun watching him play football. I'll be the first one to admit it. If you haven't seen him play for Venezia, do it, because it's exciting to watch him play. Gio Reyna actually did make an appearance this week. He only played 18 minutes for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Not a lot to really talk about with Gio's 18 minutes on the pitch, but that being said, he did get in for a little bit. But again, it's actually kind of depressing because I'm actually waiting for a Gio start. He just doesn't seem to get him, so it is what it is. Moving to the midfield, Tyler Adams only got 25 minutes this weekend, and this is, I think, the 3rd straight appearance where he's only had about 20 minutes, coming off the bench, only just a few minutes. And that's the thing, is I don't know if this is because he's not up to a full 90. I don't know if it's because he's dealing with another knock or if he's still recovering it. It's hard to put a finger on this one, but again, 25 minutes this last weekend, and it is what it is. Tanner Tessman only had 11, and I think that's the 2nd straight week where he's had limited minutes. And Johnny Cardoso had 42, and that was in the match against Real Sociedad in the Copa del Rey final. So there's that. Those are those 3. And Aiden Morris, by the way, did play this last weekend, and it was a 2-2 draw against Ipswich. Morris actually played a full 90. He had 2 chances created, 74 touches, 50 of 54 of accurate passes, 7 into the final third, 3 of 3 of accurate long balls, 9 defensive contributions, 8 tackles, 8 recoveries, 10 of 16 ground duels, and that's good for an 8 rating. And this dude just continues to do it, man. He's been steady. My boy in Middlesbrough has been steady. He is the engine that runs that midfield. And I said it last week, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets a move after the World Cup as well, too, because this play throughout the course of the season, and mind you, he's been actually the one that's been, as far as injuries with the national team go, he's the one that's actually stayed healthy the entire year. And it wouldn't surprise me if he got a move up, and especially if he makes the World Cup roster and he profiles in the World Cup, I could see a situation where he moves to a higher league. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's move to the wingbacks, and of course, Jedi only played 9 minutes this weekend, and it feels like Jedi's on a rotation, and that actually kind of makes sense as well too. And I'm wondering if it is some blowback to the knee injury, whether or not it's smart. Maybe Fulham understands that, and they're not playing him every single week just to be able to maximize whatever he's able to be able to have that kind of output. But regardless, it seems like over the last couple of weeks it's been a full 90 and then limited minutes, a full 90, limited minutes the next week. And so we'll see exactly what happens next weekend, but it is what it is for Jedi. He only got on the pitch for 9 minutes. Brian Reynolds makes the rundown again. This is the first time in a while that Brian has made the rundown. And of course, Serginho Dest is out. And Alex Freeman did not make an appearance this last weekend. And he's actually had he's also had limited minutes with Villarreal as well too. But Westerlo did beat OH Leuven 2-0. Brian actually had a full 90. He had 2 chances created, 62 touches, 33 of 40 of accurate passes, 6 into the final third, 3 of 4 of successful dribbles, 2 of 2 of accurate crosses, 2 of 3 of accurate long balls, 8 recoveries, 5 of 6 of ground duels, 2 of 2 of aerial duels, and that was good for an 8 rating. So congratulations to Brian Reynolds. It's very far and few in between that he actually makes my rundown. So congratulations to Brian. He's had a couple nice performances this season, except for him, it's consistency. But that being said, it's nice that he's actually over in this league, raising his game. So we'll see exactly what that means in the next couple of seasons and whether or not he's going to stay out there or whether he's going to come back. We'll find out exactly how that's going to play. Timmy Weah only had 45 minutes. Looks like he had a half in Olympique Marseille's 2-0 loss to Lorient. It wasn't really all that great of a performance for Weah. He's been inconsistent as well too over the last month. He's had a couple of nice performances, but nothing that's really jumped off the page. That's actually worth talking about, and that's actually kind of sad as well too, because it looks like Weah is going to have to play a massive role for this team in the summer. Those performances that we saw in December and January seem to be the high water mark for him this season. In the second half, it's slowly been kind of coming down a little bit, but we'll find out. We'll see what happens over the course of the remaining games of the season. All right, let's finish up with the center backs. And Chris Richards did make an appearance. I believe it was on Monday in a 0-0 draw to West Ham. And by the way, if you're a Spurs fan, man, you were really rooting for Crystal Palace to win that game. I know I was, but regardless, it was a 0-0 draw. Richards played a full 90. He had 84 touches, 48 of 59 of accurate passes, 13 into the final third, 4 of 10 of accurate long balls, 9 defensive contributions, 8 clearances, and that was good for a 7 rating. And again, another solid performance for Chris Richards. And of course, he's taken over, I guess you could say, the leadership of Crystal Palace from Mark Gahey. And of course, Gahey left at in the January window. And so that extra, I guess you can say, that extra pressure of being a leader is now firmly on his shoulders. And I don't think that's impacted his game at all. As a matter of fact, I think he's gotten a lot better as well too. And so from that standpoint, that's also an extra added bonus for the U.S. men's national team, because you actually have that secondary leader within that starting 11. It's all good. Mark McKenzie, it was not good. It was not good, as Toulouse lost 4-0 to Lille, and he was pulled after 48 minutes. Not great for Mark. The last couple appearances for McKenzie have not been good. But still, you look at his overall body of work in Ligue 1 this season, it's actually been a lot better than it has been bad. And so from that standpoint, it is what it is. For me, especially with Mark McKenzie, I could care less how he finishes the Ligue 1 season. The only thing I really give a shit about is how he comes into the World Cup camp, where he's at, where his mind space is at. For me, that's the only thing I really care about at this stage. Because again, we're going to, he's going to be such a huge player for this team. And at the end of the day, he's young enough where you just kind of expect that he has that short-term memory loss, that it's not going to impact his performances at all. Lastly, Austin Trusty played 120 minutes for Celtic in a 6-2 victory over St. Mirren in the Scottish Cup. He was absolutely fantastic in this one. Again, this is now like the 4th straight, I would say, superb performance for Austin Trusty. And of course, that includes that match against Portugal in the second game of the March window. And it seems like Austin Trusty is peaking at the absolute right time for this team. And I got to be honest with you, man, this is actually coming at the right time, because for those that were tuning in last weekend for the MLS live stream, we had NYCFC versus Charlotte, and Tim Ream was lifted at halftime in that one, because in that first half, NYCFC was absolutely burning Charlotte down that left-hand side. And of course, Tim Ream was one of the guys that was absolutely getting abused in that matchup. And again, it's obvious at this stage that Tim Ream literally cannot do it. Me personally, I think he's going to be on the World Cup roster. Whether or not he's going to play, we'll find out, obviously. But that being said, it's like when you have a guy like Austin Trusty, who is confident in his own abilities and now has proven it against a team like Portugal and is continuing to do it at the club level, it's going to make your head coach think, okay, cool, we have somebody that is at least trustworthy enough to step in and play. Are there going to be specific matchups where maybe he's going to try to get Tim Ream on the field? I would probably just assume. But that being said, I think Austin Trusty, now that he's like, 24, 25, somewhere in that age group, he's old enough now where he's starting to come into his prime. And now that he's with Celtic, a team that does play in the Champions League, right, where he has that taste of higher levels, I don't know, man. This feels like it's the time to make the switch. Obviously, you probably would like to have Noah Kai Banks in the fold, but we're just not there. We're not there with that kid, so it is what it is. But what you do have is somebody that can actually man the left side, somebody that can play the position that's not going to be a liability. So from that standpoint, kudos to Austin Trusty, because he has certainly backed up everything that he has said to the media. So there we are, guys. That is the rundown this week. It's been absolutely fun. Let's see what we got here. Very afraid of our chances to be grouped in the World Cup. I don't feel the same way, Wes. I don't at all, because at the end of the day, of the host nations, I think we got the best group of the host nations: Australia, Paraguay, and Turkey. The only team on paper that looks dangerous is Turkey. That's pretty much it. But that being said, I'll be the first one to say that both Australia and Paraguay can easily be banana skins if we're overlooking them. But with a guy like Pochettino, I just don't see us being in a position where we're going to overlook either of those teams. But I digress, though, right? Australia. I know a lot of U.S. men's national team fans like to dunk on Australia, but lest they forget that they advanced out of the group in the last World Cup and actually took it to Argentina quite well. I wouldn't say that Argentina was ever in a position where they had to worry, but Australia's a team that plays hard, man, and they'll make you earn it. They are what we used to be as a national team, right? They made it an absolute bitch to play it against. Those are my favorite type of national teams, right? The ones that make you earn it. And they're certainly that type of team. And Paraguay, a solid South American team. Now the reason why I like it is the fact that, we know them, we play them, and we beat them. So from that standpoint, having that result in your back pocket and understanding exactly how they're going to come at you is an advantage. So we'll see how it plays out. But, this is tailor-made for us to win this group. Anything less than winning the group is going to be a disappointment. Let's see. He goes on to say, on Spurs, a match is made of 1,000 moments. Danso is one of the few remaining pros. Oh yeah, man. Listen. Yeah, see, here's the thing, right? That match was great. And the reason why I think it's fine is because, from a Spurs perspective, when was the last time that we really had to protect a lead in the Premier League. December. It's been so long that since this team has had to protect a lead, let alone at home. And from that standpoint, from an effort, they played incredibly well. And at the end of the day, we didn't lose. And there's far more to take from that match than negatives. There's far more positives to take the negatives, and that's what De Zerbi should be telling this group. The journey of Trusty is a bit remarkable. Union washout. Was he a Union washout? Was he? Because he made the jump to Sheffield United. Did he wash out? Did he though? All right. That's going to do it for me, guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been fun. And like I mentioned earlier, I will be back on Thursday to talk about the post-World Cup, coaching hires. We will talk about, what it's going to look like for the U.S. men's national team, what direction the federation are going to go in. So do me a favor and please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming Stateside Footy content, because this is going to be an interesting conversation. And as I mentioned, I don't think Pellegrino Matarazzo is coming back to save the national team. I cannot see that at all. His value in Europe absolutely jumped through the roof with that win in the Copa del Rey. And when you consider the type of talent that team actually has, to what they just accomplished, yes, obviously they overachieved a little bit. But when you're a team in Europe that has potentially sunk in, a good fair amount of money into your first team, and you're not getting the type of results that you're expecting, and you see the type of performance that a guy like Pellegrino Matarazzo is bringing to Real Sociedad, I would probably assume there's going to be clubs out there that are probably going to, be interested in that guy. And so from that standpoint, man, I can't imagine that he's going to take the U.S. job anytime soon. Like, that's probably going to be like 10 years down the road. So in the meantime, what's left? Probably MLS coaches, maybe a European coach, depending on the coach. I know that Saudi Arabia just fired Hervé Renard, so he's available. He's also a I guess you can say an international nomad. He is known to jump from national team to national team, and he also has had some success. I think he got Saudi Arabia qualified on a few different occasions and had a couple nice moments in the World Cup. So he's available. Certainly a potential candidate. But that being said, you would also assume that there are some candidates within Major League Soccer that are going to be attractive. Maybe even a guy like BJ Callahan, who held the interim for a little bit before they rehired Greg Berhalter for that second time, right? Michael Bradley, who's with the New York Red Bulls right now, and you know how much the Fed loves bringing back former players. So there's going to be that potential. Steve Cherundolo is available, although I hope they don't go in that direction. But we're going to be talking about a few different candidates on Thursday, so please do make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell, and we'll have that conversation on Thursday evening. So until then, guys, have a great evening. Good night.
Rusted goalposts under fading skies.